Welcome back to Behind the Print podcast, where we feature industry leaders and uncover the creative minds and their businesses within the world of professional printing. Our mission is to provide you with inspiring, actionable resources that elevate your business projects, and accelerate your journey to excellence in profit and print. Today's episode is bold, branded, and brilliant, and I'm here today with CEO and designer of the Three Sisters Design Co. and eldest sister, I might add, Martha Bennington.
Hey people.
So, Martha, how did the Three Sisters Design Co. all start? From key fobs to the creation of your big house line.
I'll try to do it in a quick little nutshell. It started 20 plus years ago. I was a jewelry artist, and both of my two younger sisters are also artists. And one was visiting me when I was in California, and she goes, "We should start a business." I'm like, "That's genius." And so we bought a domain. And then baby sister is what we call the ethereal one. So she was like, "Whirl, there she off. She's gone." And middle sister went and had twins. So she was out of the picture also. So here I am. And when I was much younger, it was a lot easier to swing a hammer and do that more physical labor with your art. And in the last 10 years, it's been much more of a wonderful shift into more design heavy than labor heavy. And my line reflects my sense of humor. So we are, yeah, we're snarky, sassy, and a little badassy. So that's us. But
Snarky,
it's fun.
sassy, a little badassy. I love that.
Yeah.
And I've seen your hilarious cards.
Yes.
So tell me, who typically gravitates towards your greeting cards? Is there like a particular person or occasion they're searching for?
It's really funny because in the line, we don't do just greeting cards, as you well know. We also do stickers, we do postcards. I do a boutique soap and body butter. Good Lord, what do I do? I do everything. Air fresheners. We're bringing in tote bags, tea towels, and pillows in this next quarter. So it depends on the marker. So for my paper goods, everybody knows that person on that card. So it's. I had one of my buyers the other day tell me that this little old lady, and I'm like, be careful, because I'm a little old lady too. Little old lady keeps coming in and snatching this up for like her bridge party. She just thinks they're the funniest thing ever, and I find that hysterical because my grandmother would have done that. So that's funny. Not my mother, but my grandmother would have done that. So it just, you just need that little outside the box sense of humor. I look at all of my images in this line that you guys do for me, by the way, do amazingly, is all vintage mugshots. So I go back as early as 1870s, 80s, and then I kind of cut it off around the 70s because that's when you start to lose the really cool glasses and the big updos. And that's what it's about, right? You need, like my Carol, one of my best setting images, uh, Carol doesn't get drunk, she gets awesome. And it's this woman with this wonderful beehive and these gorgeous glasses, and she's just scowling at the camera. I don't know what she was arrested for. Sometimes I can Google it. But yeah, that's what I do is I find these great pictures and then I think of something I would probably say to somebody on the streets. That's what I do. So there it is.
That's a perfect combination of comedy and just realism. So you get both of them.
100%. We discovered it's kind of an evolution, but 2008 hit us very hard. We lost about 70% of our business overnight, like a lot of people did. And through that process, we shored up how to take care of our buyers, which we do. A majority of our business is wholesale, B2B. So we took care of our buyers, and those people are still with us because we bought out old stock and gave them affordable stock. And in that process, we learned that if you give somebody change from a $20 bill, or you make them laugh or provide self-care, you're in. You're fine. We have no glitches. We've had a few times in the marketplace where things have glitched a little bit, but we're doing fine. We're cross our fingers. We're doing fine.
That is awesome. So good to hear too. You'd mentioned about some of the new designs coming out and just designing in general, how that kind of shifted more to Design Central rather than product central.
Right.
So, when designing, what aspects do you focus on the most? Is it like style, messages? I know the pictures
Okay.
are a huge
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So that part's the easy part. The hardest part, of which you guys are a primary source of, is sourcing. Like, who are you going to find that's going to check all the boxes and give me a quality product and great communication and all those things? And you guys are very much out of the park. You're amazing. I absolutely love you guys. Every time I make a mistake, you guys call and go, "You sure you wanted to say that?" I'm like, "Oh my God, there's too many E's in that word. Take one out. I'll fix it," which is me. But yeah, the sourcing is the hardest part. So we really try to stay American made and support our American businesses. It keeps the food chain nice and easy. It's less complicated. You guys are much more responsive than if I have to go overseas. We don't go overseas. It's just too complicated. But yeah, finding the sourcing, that's the first. I have a million amazing ideas. And what do I put them on? But I have to be able to find the thing at a price point that I can design, manufacture, turn around and make some money, and provide my end user, my businesses, a really good margin so they're excited to purchase from me. So, yeah, sourcing, A number one, the most complicated, horrible part of the whole thing. I'm in tea towel hell right now, just pure tea towel hell. It's horrible. But
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. So yeah, you guys were easy because a very dear friend of mine has been using you for like 10, 15 years, Erin Smith Art. And so I came to her, she's my sister wife. And I came to her because when I started doing that line, I was doing candles, and which I don't recommend anybody to do candles. They break and they're just, they were wonderful and everybody wants them, but nobody wants to do those. Don't do that. So I'm brainstorming with her. I'm like, okay, I got this great idea. What do I do? She's like, girl, greeting cards. I'm like, what? But I'm like, I don't want to like step on your toes. She's like, your sense of humor and my sense of humor are complementary, and both a store is going to carry both of our things. And so she's been my greatest cheerleader in getting into this paper world because she knows you guys. I mean, you guys feature her on your website. So yeah, she definitely made it very easy on the paper sourcing for me. And then I'm now doing the hard, dirty business of sourcing the other stuff for her because that's the kind of weird designer marriage that we have. So it's all going to work out. But yeah, she said to me when I now do napkins also, and she said it was a 2 year battle to find that sourcing. And then, so she gave me her source, and I got my first batch of napkins. They're the best selling thing I do. And they now don't make napkins. So I have been on a napkin hunt. It's, yeah, yeah, good times.
Oh,
Great times.
goodness. That's like a whole section within the business sourcing.
It is the biggest, most important. It is without doubt. It is the number one thing that determines whether or not you have a product. I again have amazing ideas, but somebody's not going to spend like $50 for this, little cotton tea cloth. So I've got to get my margins in there so that I can make some money, and then my end user can make some money on the retail side. And yeah, so you have to juggle all that. It's that perceived value is how I've always described it. It's like I can make something that might literally I could probably get to market for $5, but the perceived value, which works for me, is it's $15 because if I drop it, nobody's interested. But if I bring it up a little bit, that's what they think it's worth. That's like a unicorn. It's a leprechaun. It's amazing, but it doesn't happen often. What normally happens is great idea, and I'm like making 5 cents on this thing. I can't do that. So yeah, it's like sourcing everything, everything.
That's a great insider to how that all works. I never really knew that could be so difficult to find those just different sources to print your stuff. And the when you mentioned how they don't do napkins anymore, that's just like mind blowing because what do you do then?
Well, you do what I've been doing for the last 4 months, which is just literally the thing I hate most about anything is sitting on the computer, putting in every Google search term I can think of, going down the rabbit hole, calling people that I see are making it, going, listen, I see your 100-piece order, but I'm looking for like 20,000 pieces on my opening order. of 6 designs. So what can you do? And it's shocking to me how I don't get a really great response sometimes. So I did actually finally find somebody on the napkins. I'm waiting for my first batch. Actually, I got my first test batch came in just yesterday, and they look amazing. So the full order will release, and I'll have it probably in 3 weeks. But yeah, I just talked to Erin last night over wine. We had our wine meeting, and yeah, and I'm like, okay, I've got napkins, and I'm like, she does some of her stuff in house, and so I was going to bring up a sublimation studio, and I'm like, I realized that's stupid. I don't want to do that. It's like, and she's going, no, you don't want to do that. So I'm also now doing the work on the other side of I can do the sublimation for a couple of these things. It's going to be like the tea towels and tote bags and those type of things, pillows. I will not make t-shirts. Uh, they're a nightmare. And that's the other side of the hard part is like whatever you're going to make, it needs to be simple. So a good example is on our body care. We don't offer a bunch of scents. Like my candles are the perfect example. The label says smells like freedom. It's basically clean laundry, and nobody complains about that scent because I don't sell a candle scent. I'm selling the label. I'm selling my humor. I don't care what the smell like is. It doesn't matter. And so on a lot of things, that's how it comes to fruition. It's just like you got to narrow it down. You got to really know what you're selling. For me, it's my snarky, sassy, and little badassy sense of humor. And yeah, so that's my jam. And just knowing not to overthink it, not to do too many variations of a thing, and yeah, keep it simple as complicated as that is. So yeah, so good times. It's so glamorous. Like when we started, our lives are so glamorous, right? But I'm not trained for anything else. I couldn't be a greeter at Walmart if you paid me. It wouldn't happen. I would. They would fire me on the first day. But I
Oh
could do
my
retail.
gosh, you're cracking me up. That's awesome.
But
Oh
you
my
now
goodness.
get an idea of where these cards come from, right? Because I'm trying to keep it as professional as possible with you, and I'm not driving any swear words. But yeah, you kind of know. I called into you guys one time, and it was so funny because they're like, "Oh my god, everybody in here has one of your greeting cards on their desk, like pinned to their bulletin board." Because they just crack up every time you come in with something new. And I'm like, that is the biggest compliment you could ever give me. And so I'm like, when you guys print my calendars for me, which is a huge, those are scaling really, really well. It's my third year with them. And I started with, I think I sold like maybe 300 of them. And this last year, I think I broke 1,000. So, I mean, it's a weird thing. And again, you guys do such an amazing job. Your template allows me, because part of my thing is my humor, right? Your template allows me to go in and edit. So if you see my calendar, you know there's some pretty crazy holidays in there. In fact, what is today? Today is Tell a Fairy Tale Day. That's really PG. Um, what was that? Tomorrow is No Brainer Day. Friday is Public Sleeping Day, which are most of these are real days, and then some I do make up, which are those are the better ones. But and I think that once I put it in writing, it's a day. It's an official holiday. Erin sells like 30,000 of her things each season, but it's a really short window of your season. So yeah, it doesn't have the momentum of something that's year round. And like our paper goods, we have Christmas holiday ish, but we do I think I probably have 4 out of the 150 that are really only Christmas. But the rest of the time, it's like had a buyer say, she said, I have a Sharpie like next to the counter. She says, we cross out the name and they'll put their friend's name in. I'm like, I should send a Sharpie with every pack that I send to you. That's genius. And so I'm not just the only genius in the room. My buyers are geniuses also. They teach me how to do a thing so that yeah, I do need a name because crossing out that name is a big deal. Because everybody knows a Karen, everybody knows a Trixie, everybody knows a Larry. So yeah, that's it. There it is.
That is awesome. You mentioned a little bit about staying true to your message and keeping it simple. Do you think that's what sets Three Sisters Design Co. apart from others in the market?
100%. 100%. Because if I used any other voice than mine. It's not authentic. And I mean, you can do it, but what makes us so successful is particularly when I've met my buyer at a trade show or something, or they talk to me on the phone, they're like, oh my God, you are exactly like your cards. I'm like, yeah, I know. I am exactly that person. That's why we're so good at this. So it's just, yeah, I say things like to people, oh my God, I think I just accidentally rolled my eyes out loud. I mean, that literally comes out of my mouth, which is the February picture that I just looked up at. I say these things, and Aaron and I are doing the back and forth last night, which is you should get both of us on one of these things. That's crazy town. But yeah, I think that, and that's why she's so successful. And that's why other businesses that you may not know this, but I mentored for about 6 or 7 years in major market showrooms that were filled with other artisans because it is not cheap to come to market and sell your stuff. And it's the only way that you're going to build your business. So I found a bunch of people that all did different stuff, threw them in 5,000 square foot showrooms, and we did our markets twice a year. And somebody else could be selling greeting cards, but they're not at all of us. Theirs might be a little bit more, G rated, whatever, family friendly, nothing on the inside or something very sweet, just happy birthday. And then mine say the things that I say. Minnie accidentally rolled her eyes out loud. So, but yeah, store will carry all those things. So I think the people who are most successful don't try to throw everything. I mean, I do throw things at the wall to see what sticks sometimes, but it's still, I think you do need to stay authentic to your voice and your humor and just the way you are. Listen, I could not do a Disney card if my life depended on it. And I have grandchildren. I still could not do it. I would somehow find a way to make it sassy. I just would. It's just what I do.
It's who you
But
are.
that's who I am. And I think when you stay true to that, I just think you kind of really can't fail. Well, you got to have some business sense too, a little bit, but that too, you know.
Very true. And along those lines, your brand emphasizes eco-friendliness and social good. How do those values influence your design and production choices?
So I'm a cancer survivor. I was a 17, 18 years cancer survivor, ovarian cancer, not one that a lot of people survive from. So yes, we can all have an applause for that. So that giving back, because so many people when I was going through that gave back and supported me when I couldn't work and I couldn't keep the lights on. And I just think it's important from I'm very pro women issues. If I don't want to alarm certain parts of my audience, I just put in there that, listen, this cycles through and we give back something every month to an organization that I choose. And I have I give back to Habitat for Humanity. I give back to, what's the buy a heifer? We literally buy a cow for somebody in Africa. And that changes their world because they get dairy, they get all the things, and eventually get meat. But we cycle through the things that are important to us. I'm huge. Habitat for Humanity is the huge one. We give to them a lot. And then I have cancer key fobs. And so it just, when it's that cancer month, for that month, everything I make off of that fob, literally, I just cover my costs and boom, it goes back to cancer research. Or again, women's issues. We're big pride and LGBTQI plus supporters. So we have a lot of queer and pride related products. And again, we support all sorts of different organizations. On some of it, just from a business standpoint, you got to be a little gray on what you're doing, but we very much authentically, and it started with us 20 years ago. We were doing. I just thought it was a really big deal to just give back. That's important to me, to just take care of your neighbor. Everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs some help, and that's a big part of our branding. The eco-friendly stuff wasn't actually our intent with the current, but it just actually worked out really well. Because originally I was making stuff off of vintage license plates, fire hose, old record albums. I would recycle, reuse, recycle, reinvent. That was my tagline back then. And they're amazing. And so I always liked how I could find a discarded object and give it new life as art. And somebody would just cherish this thing. So that was amazing. And as we backed out of that and switched gears, my key fob line is not, it's pretty eco-friendly. I do use recycled plastics in that. But like you guys use a percentage of recycled paper product in there. A funny story, I have air fresheners, and my air fresheners are, I think they're 35% recycled product, but I can't like print it on there because it comes from diapers. Diapers. They're not used diapers. They're brand new, fresh, but they can't do anything with them if there's a run that goes wrong or something. So my air freshener guy gets the used diapers, puts them through his mulching machine, and uses that with a bunch of felting, and that's how we get our air fresheners. And they sold me when they explained, like, listen, we don't tell everybody it's diapers, but and I just thought that was funny because I do subtly tell people, by the way, it's diapers. So it's just like, that's funny. So yeah, yeah, welcome to
That's
us.
really cool. That's really cool.
It is pretty cool.
So, can you tell me a little bit about why you guys made the decision to stay off of Amazon and how that shaped your business?
I think, no shade to Amazon, because I will tell you, I shop there. I try to do it as little as possible, but there's sometimes I can only get this thing on Amazon, and it makes you crazy. I just don't think Amazon is small business friendly. I just don't think that they would help my business grow. That's the simplest part there. I'd say it's a business decision. They're not going
Very
to help me.
simple.
And point blank, we sell to almost 6,000 galleries and boutiques internationally. And I will tell you, a large percentage of them, if they saw that I sold on Amazon, they're out. They're not sticking around. They don't want, because their buyer is going to walk in their store, see my stuff there, and then go on their Google phone or whatever and go, oh, I can go get it there. And it kind of goes back to our original premise that we had in business from day one is we won't compete with ourselves. So I sell to the store that's over here, and then the store over here wants to buy from me. And I go, well, you guys are on the same block. If I sell to both of you, you're going to start competing with each other, and then nobody's going to buy from me. So she got it first, and then I reach out to them, and I do put some constraints in. There's minimum order requirements, and which are so easy to meet. But yeah, and that there's a cachet in that built-in exclusivity. But in no way, shape, or form does Amazon offer that to us small businesses. It just doesn't. And Walmart is trying to compete with them. They don't do it either. All those big box things, as much as they're talking about boycotting them all on Thursday or Friday this week. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. We all need them. We hate that we need them, but we need them. Like stupid things like I can't get jackfruit in my local store, but I can get it on Amazon and it'll be here tomorrow. So, of course I have to buy my jackfruit on Amazon. Do I like it? No. But that's the thing. They want you to gas boycott something this week. I got to get in my car. So, I mean, that doesn't work. Some of these things, I do absolutely agree that the consumer has power with their dollar. But I think you should flip the switch, and instead of being anti-Amazon, we need to be pro your small businesses, and we need to support our small American businesses. You guys, me, Erin, 1,000 other ones that I know, that we're competitive with them. I mean, I'm competitive with Amazon. You can't find something like I do on Amazon for less than what I do. It's generic. It's like you don't find us there. So that's a good thing. So yeah, instead of boycotting, why don't we do a support thing, like during the holidays, where it's support Small Business Monday or Saturday or whatever day it is. Yeah, that I find I just try to put a positive spin on things as opposed to the negative.
Right, because if we had Small Business Saturday every day, a
Yeah,
lot of these issues probably could go away or just be reduced to
yeah.
something that isn't so invasive to everyone's everyday lifestyle. How you were mentioning, I gotta get gas. Like everybody's gotta get gas. So,
Well, not we're in a time where things are, for lack of a better word, chaotic. So I don't want to be the person that brings more chaos, unless it makes you laugh, more chaos to the table. I just think that my job and other designers' jobs, all of us at the end of the day, is not to tear anybody down, not to make people feel crappy about themselves. Is if we can just be kind and forgiving and give grace I know it's not easy. I snap every once in a while. You can probably see it in a gift card someplace. But if you just can try to push to the positive and give grace and know that nobody wants to be angry all the time, that's a horrible place to be. So, it's difficult. Some days it's not fun. But most days I try to do that. And then there's wine. So
And there's wine.
and then there's wine.
So, taking it on the spin of positivity, what major milestones have defined the Three Sisters Design Co.?
Oh, wow. I would say, first and foremost, the switch that we made to designing, not making. I mean, I'm still making, but I'm using my brain and not swinging a hammer. It was like a moment of fearlessness, which you don't always have. There's always insecurities like, if I do this and it doesn't work, everybody's getting calendars from 2025 for the next 10 years. Like, whoa, what's going to happen here? But as we started the things, and it just, as one thing became more successful, which started with our key fobs, and it evolved from, I was using this little vintage hand press from the 40s, making these key fobs that I make. And then my brother-in-law, again, it goes to, if you give a good energy out, it comes back to you in spades. I truly believe that. And my brother-in-law, who nobody knows what I do for a living, my girlfriend's like, "You make money doing that?" I'm like, yeah, we're okay. He had a business that went out of business and left all their equipment there. And he goes, "This looks like something you can use." And I looked at it. It was like this big freaking machine. I'm like, oh my God, I can use that. It would have cost it. Well, and then flash forward 3 or 4 years later, I did drop $20,000 for the newer version of that fancy machine. So that whole evolution in the last 15 years, probably 15 years, has been, yeah, I'm not, as artists, we get stuck thoughts. And so it's like, no, I can't do it any other way than this way. And my husband is started with, listen, we got to work smarter, not harder. And he just kept drilling it in. And he knows how to communicate to me. So, 8, 10 years ago, he goes, here's the deal. We got a source for candles. We're going to make candles. You're not going to say no. You're going to decide what we're going to put on them. And I'm like, I don't do candles. He's like, you do now. Decide, go. Don't, we're going to talk about it in 3 days. Go. And that's how the whole Big House line was born. Is I just started, I have all sorts of archives of just silly pictures, and I just collect all that weird ephemera. I think it comes from my mixed media days. And so, yeah, I have all this weird stuff. And so I had this box of mugshots that were like, literally, they're like 3 by 2. They're small, and they are like a slide. So there was this whole conversion process that happens. And then I realized, again, working smarter, not harder, archives of that stuff. It's all public domain. Don't tell anybody that. But it's all public domain. And yeah, and it just kind of, I realized really quickly I didn't want to do the candles. Aaron was, you got to do cards. And then I was like, oh, I could do postcards, because postcards, I know, I'm from Florida. People send postcards all day long. Stickers was a no brainer. My soap, I've used the same soap for 25 years, and she used to be back next to me on a street, on a booth, a street artist. That's how I started. And I would buy her soap all the time. And then I went, would you be interested in private labeling? I mean, like, I'm literally going to put a label on this. I'm going to wrap it up, but would you make the soap for me? Because I don't want to make the soap. She's like, absolutely. And I keep that woman in business right now. I just literally have 900 bars of soap coming in this week. She also does my body butters, my lotions, which again connects to eco-friendly, because body butters, you're not buying a big plastic thing that's half water. You're buying the concentrate, so you use less. Packaging is less, and it goes just as long as a big bottle does. So yeah, it might be $7, but you can go buy your whatever at the supermarket, and you're going to spend $9 to $10 by the time you use my entire thing. We do all sorts of fun stuff. We do some very other fun stuff, but yeah, we do kind of have like, what can I put my sense of humor on? And that's endless. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, that looks good. And then the one thing everybody asks for is t-shirts. And I'm like, I will not be doing t-shirts. My buyers, I mean, no, because you have to get minimums in order to make it worth my while to deal with wholesale. And then if you're going to do t-shirts, there's small, medium, large, extra large. And then they're either left with one extra, two extra smalls, and three extra large. And then they want to trade them in. At the end of the day, I have a pile of a size in there that nobody wants, but I don't know until I make them. That's too complicated. It's
Yeah,
too
that is really complicated.
I kudos to people who do t-shirts. No, no. I
No,
will license that. No.
so is there anything holding the three sisters back right now?
It's no. Um, yeah, we're pretty fearless on certain things. It's like we would love to invest in another one of these $20,000 machines because we're doing enough, particularly on our custom side right now, that it would be a really smart investment. But for that, I can also bring in tea towels, I can bring in pillows, I can bring in tote bags, and still have a little bit more wiggle room. And that big house line it's growing so fast. So, yeah, I guess the only thing that holds us back is that we're getting of a certain age where, like, yeah, really? But, we run a small business. So we're taking a cruise end of April. So it's my girl will hold down the fort while I'm gone. It's like, it's okay. You got this. So we're starting to get into this good rhythm. I don't want to say you don't want to grow too fast. That I 100% caution people about. But we have this really good rhythm going. And when I look at the last 5 years and our numbers and our EBITDA and all the other things that we're doing, and I know I look like somebody who's, I'm definitely ADHD off the charts. But and people sometimes don't realize that there's actually a really solid business plan in this. We pay attention to our numbers. If a certain line's not working, we know we're going to phase it out, but I don't phase it out until I can, work through the inventory. Um, I bring things in small batches to test the market, and then some things I can't bring in, like napkins, a great example. I have to buy 20,000 of them, packaged in packs of 20, to test a market. So that was a very scary, giant investment because you have to have 4 designs for display, but they blew up. And so we're now on the verge of 12 designs. I'm waiting. Those should be in about 3 weeks. We've got 8 now, and we should have 4 more. I bring in 4 every quarter because it's very expensive, but they're selling like crazy. Everybody loves them. And from our standpoint, like gift cards, they're consumable. So once somebody uses it, and because we're so snarky, sassy, and all that things, they got to get more, right? So there's that constant purchasing power that keeps us alive. So that was another little cornerstone of, yeah, we need to focus on at least a good part of our line is consumables. And yeah, we have a good cult following going right now. It's pretty funny when I find my people who are like, oh my god, I just like you're yeah. I'm like, okay. In fact, I have somebody who's up in St. Pete. I'm in Bradenton, Florida, who's going to swing by my not ready for prime time studio space. It is not open to the public, and I'm like, yeah, come on by, but don't expect it to storefront. This is where I just like it's grunt dirty, it's crazy, but yes, you're more than happy to come in and see what I do, and you can just go to town. That'll be fun. But no, I'm not open to the public. It's like no, not gonna.
Awesome. So between a lot of smart business decisions and testing, what is something you wish you knew before this all started?
I think that it's kind of a backwards answer. I know that Aaron and I made a huge difference for a lot of artistic based small businesses with that community of support. And that was one of the things that I didn't have a lot of in the beginning. I mean, when you're doing street fairs, you're just, you're all over the place. And it's a different type of business mind, I guess. Like it was fun for a minute, but no, I'm not driving cross country and doing that stuff right now for rain and no, and cold and no, not gonna happen. So that's where the wholesale came in, but it's very expensive to bring yourself to market and to build an audience. And I would have loved to have had a community like we've created to support us that you can run ideas off of, like I did to Aaron. Like, okay, I have a greeting card I want to do. Where do I get it done? And I go, Printing Center USA, call them. This is where you need to go. And it's funny because a lot of the time the response is, don't tell people where you make things. Don't tell people where you source things. And the thing is I have every confidence in my line. Nobody's got this weirdly wired squirrel brain. Nobody else has that. So I am not afraid of competitors. Bring it. I gotcha. It's not a problem. But there's not there's enough space at the table for all of us. And if I can help people source something, it comes back to me in spades when I'm looking for something. And it's just all this nice, wonderful little circle that, yeah, I just think it's, yeah, be kind and support your fellow makers and your fellow business people, particularly small people, because yeah, there's crazy days and then there's crazy days. Yeah.
I believe it. You guys probably have days where there's just hundreds of orders going out, going out.
Yeah, or it's or you put all this time and energy into this product and it shows up and it's exactly everything's wrong with it. Yeah, now you have to put on your I'm going to kill somebody hat, not figuratively, not literally, but you really, yeah, I'm like, I'm coming for you. What the hell is your, what did you do? How did we miss what, like, no. And
How
so,
could
yeah,
this have happened?
yeah, we're doing that now. Or the things that, like, I have an interesting thing going on right now with our pillows, which are fantastic. I think a pillow needs a tassel. It's just a thing that I have. A pillow needs a tassel, right? So I found the tassels. I had to source them in India because nobody in the US makes tassels. So I sourced them in India and I got these amazing tassels back. But I was looking for tassels that are like that long, and I got ones that are like that long. I'm going to make it work because nothing goes to waste. And I'll put like 3 or 4 tassels on every corner and just bring them in sharp and they'll be cute. But then there's been this communication all week of that wasn't their fault. But I didn't know that tassels came in 500 different sizes. So I've learned this week tassels come in all sorts of sizes. Yes. And then there's just fabrics that and fabrics I'm actually pretty well versed in. So I kind of know what I'm looking for, like with the tea towels. You know, I have people coming back quoting microfiber, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I want a cotton flour sack. I know exactly what I want. Don't mess with my head. I know what I want. Don't do that. And so they send me my samples, and then it's a great quote, and I've got my margins. And then they go, oh, no, 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 that one is for the microfiber. I'm like, I clearly said to you, I don't want your microfiber. So guess who's not going to get my business? Like, no, out next. So yeah, today I've been in tea towel hell. It's it'll pay off. It's just like it's one of those things that yeah, I just don't like being mad at people and going like, are you not listening to me? I don't want that. So I had to yell at a couple people today over the email. So it's like it's not that bad. They don't really hear it, but you'll get to hear it.
Over email, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but yeah. But it's just, yeah, again, it goes all full circle. It's sourcing is everything. Everything. If I can finish this tea towel sourcing, I know that I'm going to share it with 4 other makers that I know that do tea towels that are going to save them a lot, which means it adds margins, which means it leaves you more wiggle room on growing your business. I mean, it's margins, margins, margins. And if I don't have good margins, with a lot of artisans don't, if you don't have great margins, then you don't have a business. You can't grow. And we very hardcore monthly look at those numbers and see what's going on and see what's room for this is style, nobody likes it, they don't get me here. So that's gonna we'll just let that go by the wayside. Or, you know, people are really liking these things. So what else can we do? Looking at trending purchases, trending topics, trending in general. You know, just following all those that little minutia that they don't that people don't think you're paying attention to. You have to pay attention to. And we are very much segueing into. I spend most of my day at this desk, which is not my favorite place to be. And my husband's in San Francisco, and my girl is. So I'm doing everything today. I'm wearing all the hats. It's not pretty. It's not, but it's
So
okay.
let's
Got
let's
this.
dream for a minute here. If you had a day completely free to spend however you like, what would you choose to do?
Oh man, that's because really, if my husband is here, he'd be like, "You said what?" I I love just going through my buckets of minutia and figuring out like what's the next thing I can do, and what's the how do I put a twist on this, or like I've got all the mug shots, but there's thousands and zillions of these really funky, weird pictures that aren't mug shots that also have a different voice, which I'm working on right now. Working on the new designs for the towel. I love doing that. I really do. Um, but then the other thing is, I very much looking forward to going on our Virgin Voyages cruise. No kids, no kids. That's like got me. I love kids, not cannonballing in front of me at the pool. No, I'm a bougie foodie, but I'm also a dirty vegan. So I can eat on that ship. Like every place else, it's like, would you like some prime rib? I'm like, no, thank you. And so I don't need the salad bar when I'm spending that money. So, oh my God, go on a Virgin Virgins. Oh, they're the
Girl,
best.
I love cruising. Cruising is also my favorite way to vacation, and
Yeah,
I recommend it to anybody. It's like pay
yeah.
one fee, and then you're fed endlessly. You have endless events to go to,
Oh my
and
God.
you're constantly entertained, and you can do whatever you want.
And I don't care where we're going. I say, I'm on a boat. I don't care where it's going. If
Going
you
to the
ask me
beach.
where I'm going for 5 days, end of the month. I don't know where I'm going. I don't care. My husband looks at me and goes, "This is the only time I see you just totally like you're not thinking about the business thing." If and we just moved our studio into this brand new, separate from the house because I have a giant house. My kids are grown, so we just kept converting every other room into more studio space. But what happens is you never leave the office. So I get up in the morning, I'm at work, and when I'm done at the end of the day, I'm at work. And I didn't think that was a big deal um, until we realized that we were fast outgrowing our house, even. And we found this amazing spot, which is 2 miles from my house. Because that was my other thing. It's like, I don't want to have to put pants on. Do make me put pants on. But I do put pants on, but it's just 2 miles away. It's okay. And we are so much more organized and everything's so much more fluid. And I spend half as much time here as I used to spend at home doing the same amount of business. And then with my husband and with my better half, my girl Friday, her name is Betsy, but we call her Bestie. So yeah, they run the show, and I'm just here, and I'll hear a holler, and I'll yell something back, and I'll jump in if we're emergencies. But yeah, my least favorite, but kind of most favorite place is to sit here and do the things. But I don't know. Sometimes I do like to get in there, and I'm printing today, so I'm on a machine, which kind of feels good. So yeah,
That's
it's good.
awesome. So your day completely free would still be spent designing.
I even when I'm on a ship, I'm my drink is an old fashioned. So I'm wandering around with an old fashioned on Scarlet Night, which is the big party night, listening to the crazy things drunk people say and literally writing them down. Like, oh yeah, that there's a card in that. My husband and I have this thing. It's like, oh yeah, there's a greeting card in that. There's totally got that. Oh, there's a greeting card in that. So yeah, it just I one of the person who's randomly called me yesterday who bought my cards up in St. Pete and she works in Bradenton is coming in on Friday just to check me out and see things. I don't care. Tanya goes, oh, her thing was, does this smell like chloroform to you? She's a nurse. Yeah, that's funny. I have to turn that into. I have to figure out how to work that. But does this smell like chloroform to you? That's good. That's
That
really
one's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's yeah. We got. I text myself. In fact, I texted myself last night when I was back. Well, look at my texts, but I text myself because I was at the neighbor's house, and I strive to live my life in such a way that Farrell will be used at least once in my obituary.
Oh,
I'm in. I got that.
oh
And
my gosh.
then that whole trending hot towel girl out of
Oh
Nashville.
yeah.
It's funny.
Too old lady.
I was in there when I was like down the street from her. We're back at the hotel going, we were just there. We were just there. So I've hopped out,
Gosh.
but not how you think. So yeah, I have a billion of
That is so cool. You
that
saw a
goes
hawk to a
rock
girl.
on your place because it's not a rock and a soft squishy pillow. It's just I just sit there and that's what we do. So yeah.
That's so awesome. So, how can our listeners get in touch with you to learn more, visit the website, or order cards?
Uh, I make it super simple, streamlined. We have two markets, retail and wholesale. You can go to the3sisters.com, and it's the number three, not the word. So THE numeral three sisters.com. plural.com. You have a launching off point for my Etsy, which is all my retail, and for wholesale is on Fair, and it will take you there, and that's where all my entire catalogs are at. So I don't want to you do not want me maintaining a website. No, do not want that to happen. So everybody's like, you should build a website. I'm like, do I look IT to you? Nothing about this screams I'm in IT. No, no. And I've had the big giant shebangs before, and they just never, no. Make it simple. Boom, boom.
Just no.
No, I mean, my Etsy store, I think I have like 20,000 sales on there. I mean, we're huge. We're a top seller on all of my platforms. Fair, like I said, we got 6,000 internationally. Canada, I'm shipping to Ireland today. Irish people get me. We ship to Iceland. That's like my bucket list place to go. And I just shipped to Reykjavik, whatever the big town. There's only one big town because there's only 500 people who live there. But yes, I'm shipping to Iceland. I got so excited. It was just insane. I'm shipping to Iceland. We could deliver this. That was my thing. We could deliver this and write up the whole trip. Yes.
Now that would be a fun vacation.
Yes. Apparently my accountant, who by the way is my middle sister, says, no, I can't do that.
The accountant says you're not allowed.
Yes. And that's like, so it's funny. It's interesting because yes, my accountant is middle sister. So yeah, I got a great accountant who tells me, no, can't do that. I'm like, oh, come on. She's like, if you can ship it, you can't hand deliver it. Like, sure, I can. Watch me do that.
Oh my goodness. Find
a couple other people that buy from me. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm going to figure out that Iceland trip, how to deliver it. That's on my bucket list.
I think you need to do it. I think just break the bank.
Virgin Voyages is going to Greenland, Iceland, and then back into like New York, Greenland, Iceland, New York. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. I get best of both worlds. I'm going to those places. Plus Virgin Voyages, cannot rep them enough. They are the most, I wouldn't, if you said to me 3 years ago, you'd see Martha on a cruise ship, I'd be like, yes, because I'm trying to dump my body offshore. I'm not going to go on a cruise ship. That is the worst idea on the planet. And a friend of ours did a Virgin Voyages and literally was texting us from somewhere in the Atlantic going, this is a Martha cruise. Like, I'm looking around. This is a Martha. She's going to like this. If she doesn't like this, we will pay for your cruise. I'm like, all right, we're in. I went twice in 1 month. I literally, because it gave me bougie perks. And so I did twice in 1 month. And then like 3 months later, and then I did my birthday there. I'm not telling you what year it was, but I did my birthday there with Aaron. I sent pictures to my dad of me drunkenly dancing at Scarlet Night. I'm like, this is your drunk daughter. Yeah. It's 60. Yeah. It was fun. It was really, really fun. So, yeah. You want to sail with me?
I do. That sounds like the best. Yeah. I love cruising. That's right up my alley. We're on the same page there. That's the best type of vacation you can get.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
Well, you guys heard her. Check her out. the3sisters.com on the web or the Three Sisters Design Co. on Instagram. But that's a wrap of another episode of Behind the Print podcast. Thanks to our listeners for joining us as we have explored the artistry and innovation of the printing world. Remember, having a strong vision like these three sisters, building the right strategy, and using tools like print to amplify your message will make your brand stand out from the crowd. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to get your sample pack from printingcenterusa.com and share it with your fellow business enthusiasts. Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying, and remember, there's always more to discover behind the print.
Thank you.